For today's video, I thought we would tackle compound cocktails. Other people call them mashups, but I like compound cocktails. Like a compound word. Two cocktails come together and make a baby of another delicious cocktail. This is like a very good way to sort of understand what goes with what and kind of understand how flavors work. Basically, like, understand your own palate. Palate sensitivity is not something that you can really build up. You either have like a very sensitive palate or you don't, but the repetition of tasting things will prime your palate and train it to detect flavors over time. Does that make sense? Like, for instance, the first time I tasted a Negroni, my friend Plex, who was working at a place called Little Cave in Highland Park before Highland Park was as gentrified as it was now. There's this bar called Little Cave, and it was basically a horror-themed cave bar with, you know, little fake bats and stuff everywhere. It was pretty cool. It is not there anymore. The very first time I went there, after that long and pointless story, he made me a Negroni. I took one sip of it. I hated it. Hated it because I'd never really primed my palate for Campari. This was early on in my bartending career. I think I was actually still a barback at this time. Over time though, as I had drank more and more bitter things, my palate began to change and I primed my palate for Campari. Now when I taste Campari, I taste a lot of nuances of flavor. But then again, I have also been blessed with a pretty sensitive palate. Not to mention the fact that you can make really great, awesome, you know, very seemingly creative things by taking other people's creativity, mashing it together with your own creativity and make something awesome, right? Right. Okay, first cocktail we're gonna do, an espresso martini. There's been a lot of talk, actually. There's been a lot of pushback on my thoughts on the espresso martini. Recently, a video came out where I shared that I thought the espresso martini was kind of an overrated cocktail. And I have some reasons for that. If you want to know my reasons behind why I think the espresso martini is an overrated cocktail, you can go to our Patreon, where I will share my thoughts with you, you know, for a price. $5 a month gets you access to exclusive videos. So check it out there if you're interested. It is a very pleasing cocktail done in a certain way. And then there's also an espresso tonic. The espresso tonic was first recorded in 2007, although it was probably made much earlier than that. And it emerged in Scandinavia before it spread to the United States, Japan, and then of course the rest of the world. Espresso tonic is a really fun little not mocktail, it's not really a mocktail, but it's just like a fun little drink that you can do. Espresso goes really well with the quinine sort of tonic flavor. So why not make that into an espresso martini and make it boozy, right? Am I right? Well, we're gonna be using cold brew concentrate because that's how I do for my espresso martinis these days. I don't know, this company called Bloom sent this to me. This is not a sponsored video. They didn't pay me or anything. This has been sitting around for a while though, but this is like a 1-to-1 replacement for espresso apparently. It even says right here, 1 ounce of Bloom to 1 ounce of espresso. So pretty strong. So we're gonna do 1 ounce then. The equivalent of espresso shot into our tin. And then we're gonna put ½ an ounce of coffee liqueur. I'm gonna use that Luxardo Espresso because, you know, let's make the coffee taste even more like coffee. And then we're gonna do 1.5 ounces of Reposado tequila. Using that good Arete, additive free, fantastic price. You cannot beat the price. What was the price of that? The Reposado.
It was $22.
$22 for Reposado tequila and additive free. Can't beat that. You can't beat that. All right, let's get some ice. I got this new Crescent ice. We got this new machine that makes clear Crescent ice, and it's actually pretty good ice. But where's my scoop? Oh, my scoop is in the kitchen. I forgot I left it in the other ice maker, and since we made the short film, I haven't brought the not ice maker, the ice, the cold box, the freezer. The cold box, because it's 1982. I mean, not 1882. Had to go downstairs. All right, add some ice to our tin. And our cocktail, we'll give it a shake. And let's add some ice to our highball here. So I put these in the freezer so that they would get cold fast because they weren't in the fridge. And I wonder if if that super chill thing is gonna happen. Yeah, look. Do you see it?
Yeah.
Kind of shot myself in the foot. I kept them in there for a little too long. Pretty cool though. That's super chill.
Is it gonna come out slushy now? Or?
It is gonna be slushy, which actually worked really nicely for this cocktail, but I wonder if I'll be able to pour it. I wanted to layer it on top because the espresso martini has gonna be, yeah, there we go. Oh yeah. The espresso martini is gonna be a lot more dense, so this would layer on top, but the foam is kind of messing that up. I didn't really think my way through it. Plus we're gonna have to mix it, give it a little twiddle so I can get some of that tonic action. It's good as hell. It's like, you know, it tastes exactly like what you would think it should taste like. It's like a little bit sweeter version of taking espresso and putting it in tonic, but I really love the tonic flavor with the espresso. The espresso has kind of a more chocolatey sort of feel because you got that espresso liqueur in there, just kind of upping the coffee, and you get really like kind of a chocolate note to it. I don't know, I think that vodka makes a really flat tasting espresso martini, where when you put in like a reposado tequila with a little bit of barrel notes, you kind of working those barrel notes into the coffee. And although the coffee is kind of going through the nuance of it, you get a fuller flavored espresso martini. And that's why I think a lot of people like to use reposado tequila for their espresso martinis anyway. You get that little agave note just coming through just a little bit. So there it is, guys. The espresso martini and tonic, I guess we'll call it. Next cocktail is called a Caipi Island. The Caipi Island was created by our good friend Jean-Felix of Truffles on the Rocks. It's been a while since we made a truffles cocktail, and I did tweak it a little bit. He makes it like a caipirinha, that's like Caipi Island. So it's like a caipirinha kind of mashed up with a bramble kind of. But the thing about it is that he makes everything in the glass, and then he pours on the things and then stirs it. I'm not gonna do that. I wanna do a whip shake on this, even though half of you guys are gonna say it's sacrilegious. And then the other thing is he uses creme de cassis to top it off, right? Which is like, he tops it up like a bramble, but creme de cassis is more like a bourbon renewal. Creme de Mure is what's used in a bramble, and we got that homemade creme de Mure that I've got a video for, so you should go watch that. So creme de cassis is black currant liqueur, and it turns kind of brown, whereas the homemade creme de Mure that we do is blackberry, but it's also wine and gin. And so not only is it very, very, very stable if you put it in the fridge, but also it stays red for a really long period of time. So it's gonna give a more poppy kind of color when we layer it on top. Gotcha? Capiche it? You capiche that? Yeah, you capiche it. All right, capiche, capoche, let's get it on. So, first thing we're gonna do is, oh my God, this, we want both pieces. So we're gonna quarter half a lime. Actually kind of a big thing, but actually I think I want 6 pieces, even though it's kind of big. And we're gonna just place those into our tin, try and get them peel side down. You wanna crush the meat, but just press the peel. Gonna give us a good little muddle here. Crush the meat, press the peel so you get all those oils out. Also, he's using granulated sugar, which I am not going, actually, you know what I'm gonna do, Marius, for this one? I'm gonna do my little technique here. I'm gonna do a little bit of sugar cube, right? We're actually gonna give that a little muddle in there. And this is gonna put the sugar on time release. It's gonna be a little stiffer on the front end, a little sweeter on the back end. We're gonna do that, and then we're going to add 1/2 ounce of simple syrup here to immediately balance the lime, which is about 3/4 of an ounce of lime. This lime actually doesn't have a ton of juice coming out of it, so those 6 pieces gave me about 3/4 of an ounce, but if you have a big juicy lime, just do 4 pieces. Is that all my innovations to Truffles' cocktail? I think so. So we're gonna do 1 ounce of gin, mashing up that bramble with the caipirinha. We're gonna do 1/2 ounce of aged cachaça. I have high hopes for this cocktail. And then we're gonna do 1/2 ounce of Joven mezcal, which is young mezcal. We're gonna get our big ass honkin' vat of pebble ice that's been sitting in here for a while because we made so much pebble ice with all the pebble ice machines we did from the review. All right. Little Scotia pebble. A bit of whip shake. Pour it in like so. I'm gonna give it a little capper. And then we're gonna do the 1/2 ounce of Creme de Mure. Ooh, I dig that, yeah. It's nice. It's a really nice balance of flavors when it comes to the different spirits that are in there. So, you know, obviously we're doing a gussied up lime sour. You got the lime, you got the sugar balancing it out. And then 1/2 ounce of simple syrup with a little tiny bit of cubed sugar is gonna make about 3/4 ounce of sugar in the drink. 1/4 ounce of that is on time release. So it's gonna get a little sweeter as you go. And then what we're doing is we're building it up with a little bit of gin. You get those botanicals of the gin. I didn't choose an extra like very smoky mezcal, but you do get that earthy smoky flavor a little bit on the back end. And you get a little bit of complexity from the cachaça. I'm using amburana, which is cachaça that has been aged in the amburana wood. And then that little bit of creme de mure on top, just giving it a little bit more complexity, a little bit more depth. And then adding just a touch of sweetness to it, and then you get a little bit of that oxidized wine flavor that goes really well in all this. So there it is, guys, the Caipi Island. What happens when you mix a Paloma with a margarita? Today we're gonna find out. Margarita and Paloma are very, very, very similar drinks. We're gonna do this in a little bit of a different way, and we're not, spoiler alert, going to be using fresh grapefruit juice. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. In our tin, I wanna make this spicy, so we're gonna use our signature spice tincture. 5 dashes. If you guys want this as a product in our store, comment below so I can get an idea of how many of you guys would actually buy a spice tincture to make things spicy. And then we're gonna do, oh, I'm really jumping the gun here, dude. We should really do things properly. And by properly, I mean cheap ingredients first, cheapest ingredients first. So let's do our lime juice first. We are going to do 1 ounce of lime juice, 1/2 ounce grapefruit liqueur. We're gonna forego the agave here. We're just gonna do 1/2 ounce of simple syrup because we want that grapefruit to come through since it is a, you know, kind of margarita in the Paloma style. So 1/2 ounce of simple, just 1-to-1 simple syrup. And then we're gonna do one of my favorite tequilas, Tequila Arrete, fully additive free, $21, $7.50. That's like unheard of prices, especially in today's market. And we're gonna do 2 ounces of Blanco tequila. I think I'm just gonna do this on the rocks. Dude, this guy's been in the freezer for so long, it got like frost burn. But you know what? I think I'm gonna use 2 different types of ice here because I want to use like bigger rocks in the glass. So I'm going to use like these bigger rocks in the glass here. But I'm going to shake with that crescent ice. I'm gonna call this like the Palomita. I think there's already a Palomita drink, but I wanna call it a Palomita. Little Paloma. Let's give it a sip. This is great. You know what's great about it? It's like everything you want in a margarita, but then it has that grapefruit kind of bitterness and it's like a little bit of sweetness. It's really nice and balanced. It's tart. You know what I should have done is given a little 5-dropper of saline to make it go. Let's give it a stir. And there you have the Palomita. This is gonna be a weird episode because I don't know, I feel like every week lately, I don't know why this is, but every single week lately, when I come to do this, I feel like we haven't done it in 1,000 years. And I just feel rusty. I don't know if I'm going through some kind of like new growing pain where the channel is going to take another turn or my performance is going to become much better or much worse. But lately I've just been feeling like I've been getting that like that rookie vibe like again for some reason. Like I don't know what I'm doing. No thoughts? Okay. Just wait till wait till I do something random and then you're gonna have some thoughts on that, but you don't have any thoughts on what I just said. Okay, all right. See, I see you. All right.
That's
cool, Marius. That's cool. Huh?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I thought we were past the setting age.
Hey, you don't have to try for my benefit. All right, you don't have to try for my benefit.